Hi again. So this wasn't planned, but it's now part two because I ran out of storage on my phone, so I've just had to clear a load of junk off my phone. So as I was saying, Dracula Universal Monsters by James Tynion IV and Martin Simmons. This is issue 3 of 4. This is one of the best miniseries I've read in the past few years. Gorgeous painted artwork, which you don't see very much of nowadays. Almost like a Sienkiewicz style of artwork. Really, really nice. It reminds me much, actually, not Bill Sienkiewicz, but it reminds me of Dave McKean before he really reached fame, when he did Black Orchid and Violent Cases. It's that kind of painterly style. And it's a fantastic reinterpretation of the classic Universal Monsters Dracula. It's more like the surrounding story, so it doesn't do a beat for beat retelling of that story, but it deals with the supporting cast and what went on in the background. And it's amazing. And James Tynion does something what Tom King doesn't. He lets the artwork speak on some panels. So sometimes there could be a page where there's no dialogue. He doesn't need it. You can get the story from the artwork. And the art, it's just gorgeous. It's a 10 out of 10. And all I can say is, that's all I can say, just buy it. You need to buy it. It's fantastic. It's $4.99, but it's well worth it. Because there's really good back matter as well. It shows you all sketches and idea processes as well. So it's always interesting to see how they come up with the designs for something which is like such a iconic story. So yeah, it was good. 10 out of 10. And then issue 2 of the 2-part origin story of Geiger, Ground Zero. Beautiful artwork by Gary Frank. Solid story by Jeff Johns. He's doing the best work of they're both doing the best work of their careers with this universe, and the Unnamed universe, and I cannot wait for the new comics that are coming out this year. So there's going to be a Ghost Machine 64-page special for $4.99, amazing value, doing short stories focusing on all the characters. And then Geiger will be the first issue coming out as an ongoing, and then there's Rook Exodus, and then there's Red Coat, and some other comics will come out through the year. So that's why I'm culling a lot of my comics to make room for the titles coming from here. So yeah, 9 out of 10. A very satisfactory origin story of Geiger. It gives you more background about him and some of the lesser known characters, and it just whets your palate and whets your appetite for the oncoming Unnamed universe that's being launched this year. So yeah, 9 out of 10. A very solid series. Like I said, only 2 issues, so I'd pick it up now because it's a cardstock cover, high quality paper, and it's only $3.99. It makes more sense than waiting for the collection. And then we have one of my favourite mainstream feel-good superheroes, Blue Beetle, number 5, and this is by Trujillo Gutierrez. I don't speak Spanish, so I'm butchering that. And this is such a fun read. I'm a Ted Kord fan. I love Ted Kord, but I'm growing to love Jaime Reese with this series. They really make him such a likeable character. I love his supporting cast. He's got some goofball friends, and they still keep him with the Kord legacy as well, because Ted Kord is a linchpin in this storyline. And it's a sensible update. It's got a very Mighty Morphin Power Rangers feel to it. It's good, solid sci-fi action as well. It's a good contender for there's not many good sci-fi comics, especially sci-fi superheroes from Marvel or DC. Green Lantern's a good one, and Blue Beetle's another great one. And again, 9 out of 10. It's going into the mystery about who, I think it's a character called the Red Scarab, if I remember rightly. I just can't be bothered to open it because I'm already waffling. But the artwork is beautiful. The artist is one who does this cover. Gorgeous artwork. And just a fun comic. Like I've said this before, I'd love for them to do a Firestorm comic. Or even a Young Justice comic. Yeah, it's a solid 9 out of 10. I highly recommend you buy this. But if you do buy the Blue Beetle graduation day trade paperback. It's dirt cheap. and it's fun, but it just gives you a bit more background about what's going on with these characters. So yeah, 9 out of 10. And then we have The Holy Roller by Andy Samberg, Rick Remender and Joe Schroman, with arts by Roland Boschi. Pardon me. I love this. I think it's only a 10-issue series now. It's basically an Jewish guy who's kind of drops out, ended up working for Greenpeace, so he doesn't have to have any responsibilities. But then his mum dies, so he goes back to be with his dad. And basically, he realizes that his town's become very, very anti-Semitic. And so he basically takes on the Nazis in his hometown, and he uses his dad's bowling ball, so he becomes this unexpected vigilante called the Holy Roller. And it's just brilliant. The artwork is kinetic. It's very, very good at portraying action and fight scenes. It's fun. It's Rick Remender having fun, but it's got the humour of Andy Samberg as well from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's just great. Yeah, really good fun. Highly recommend you hunt it down. It's only been 2 issues so far. There's a third one coming out, I think, next week, something like that. 9 out of 10. And next up we have Shazam. This one is by Wade, but it's got Goran Suzuka on the artwork. Artwork's not bad at all. But I don't know, it's a good story, it's a solid story. The artwork's good, like I said, but I've been up and down with Shazam. It's a good comic, don't get me wrong. But I've been thinking, do I need it? And at the end of the day, I think, would I miss it if I don't read it? No. So this will be another one that I will be stopping with. Well, I've got another issue coming, so it'll finish off this storyline. It's a 2-issue storyline where he fights Black Adam, but then there's more to it than that. There's things put in place that causes them to fight. But like I said, the artwork is not bad at all. I mean, if you're not going to have Dan Mora, I mean, I love Dan Mora, but I think there's a danger where people can lift him up on such a pedestal that I don't think it's fair on other artists, to be honest. Because, like I said, the artwork is really solid. It's got that nice kind of like almost retro flavour to it. But I just felt like it wasn't the artist. I just felt like the story was lacking. It felt like it was just Mark Waid consciously doing a 2-issue filler comic before he does his next major arc. But it didn't feel like a necessary 2-issue story. It was just treading water. So I'd give it 6 out of 10, and that is my. Once the next issue comes, that's going to be my last Shazam comic. And then let's have a look. See, Flash number 4. This by Cy Spurrier writing and Diodato Jr., Mike Diodato Jr. on artwork. Very detailed cover. Mike Diodato's weird. I like him, but I don't at the same time. It's his panel layouts. I think other people have commented on this as well. They look lovely to look at, but they draw you away from the story a bit because they're complicated for complication's sake, just for cleverness. Pardon me. But the story's fun. It's basically Cy Spurrier's Animal Man, this. It's, let's see how weird you can go with a superhero. Because I was so jaded, and I've said this before, I'm so in the minority for this, but I did not like Jeremy Adams, it's Jeremy Adams, isn't it? Green Flash comic. I thought it was just too fluffy and a bit sickly sweet. Whereas this is much more a weird science comic, very much like the Flash was in the 60s, and I like that idea. But it still has the family elements and things like that, like Buddy Baker was, but in Animal Man, but with the weirdness encroaching into everything. It's not an easy read. I think in a really, if I could go back 4 months, I would not buy this. I would wait for the collection, because I think it would read much better as a collected whole in trade paperback. But I like the Flash, so I thought I'll get it. It's from ground one. But it's it can be convoluted. but sometimes a comic that makes you think is worth the effort, and this is worth the effort. It's not like the Wonder Woman one where there's just words for words' sake. Each word means something, and there's clever use of words in this as well, which again plays with the fourth wall like Grant Morrison did with the Run on Animal Man. So yeah, it's a really good fun sci-fi comic. But I'll show you what I mean about the artwork. I don't know if you can see it. It sometimes makes it difficult to see if you're meant to read across or if you're just meant to read that page, because he has all these grids going on all the time, which is, yeah, it looks pretty, it looks very designy, but it detracts from the storytelling. So for the artwork, I'd give it 7 out of 10. Story, 9 out of 10. So yeah, I would recommend it. But maybe, I think, to be honest, I think it'd be better getting in a collection. And then we have World's Finest number 22. So this is the Return to Kingdom Come. Dan Mora doing amazing artwork on here. I was actually thinking, should I stop this one as well? But no. Because I think I was just doing that because I was getting nervous about how many comics I'm getting. It's old school superheroes, loud, proud, brash, gorgeous colours as well by Tamara Bonvillain. Dan Mora at the height of his game, he brings his A game to the World's Finest. Yeah, it's fun. It's high stakes superhero action. Everything's exaggerated and bloated. There's so much going on, but it's a fun read. It's like Blue Beetle. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but there's enough depth there to get for an adult reader like me. So yeah, I'd give this an 8 out of 10. And then we have Batman 141. Well, let me just have a drink. Oh dear. This is by Chip Zdarsky. Oh, Jimenez. So it's nice seeing back on full art duties. This ties up the Zaran R storyline and leads into the Joker Year 1, which starts. It's going to be a weekly comic, so that's going to be $4.99 a week. Thoughts on the story? I can see what Chip Zdarsky's trying to do with the story with this, but I'm tired of Zaran R. This isn't my kind of Batman story. I like my Batman to be either detective or to be gothic or to be a mystery or street level. And this is just meta for the sake of being meta. Not like Grant Morrison's run Batman, where it's not as clever as Grant Morrison's run Batman, where he played with multiverse and stuff like that. I found the multiverse storyline so boring, especially with the Mike Hawthorne artwork. But yeah, it was an okay read. The artwork is gorgeous. The artwork's a solid 9 out of 10. But I'm going to give the story 6 out of 10. It ties up the story kind of, and like I said, but it doesn't really close it because it leads into Joker Year 1. And I think I'm going to see with Joker Year 1 if I'm going to carry on with Batman. I might do, because I'm a Batman mark. I love Batman. I've always loved Batman since the 70s. But yeah, it's not my favourite Batman comic. For me, the best Batman comic is Detective by Ron V. He is killing it on that comic. Unfortunately, I think he's got about another 8 issues before he finishes his run. But yeah, 6 out of 10 for story, 9 out of 10 for art. But this is the one exception where I will be carrying on. Again, it might pick up with Joker Year 1. Maybe once it's done away with the whole Zaran R thing, I might start enjoying it. I just don't like the Zaran R character at all. I just found it jaded. It just went on too long. And then we have back on, away from all the multiverse nonsense, Green Arrow number 7, which, hurrah, hurrah, it is now an ongoing series. So this, kind of like a more quiet issue, where he's just checking on what's happened to the Justice League, catching up with friends, touching base and touching ground, as it were. Having a really nice, there's a really nice moment, a few pages with him and Hal Jordan, just showing how easy their friendship is. And yeah, it was just a nice, like a cozy read in a way. And this, because I like Green Arrow's comic as a character, but I did not like the last storyline. It was well written, don't get me wrong, I admired how he wrote it, but I just didn't like the science fiction timey-wimey stuff for Green Arrow as a character. And this is me hopeful now that it's going to be more grounded, more street level. So I will carry on, and I'll give this an 8.5 out of 10. And then we have one of the biggest surprises of the past year, which is Batman Offworld. I did not think I would like the first issue. This is Batman in space, his first time encountering, doing an intergalactic story. And Jason Aaron, my God, he knows Batman's voice. Because I thought it was just going to be so clunky and cheesy. But no, it's Batman still. Even how Batman would act on Earth, he acts on